And welcome to the Red Leaf Retrocast. It's episode 79, Retro Gaming. I'm your host, JD, as usual, joined by Colin and Kay. He's back. No Joey today. He's got family obligations. Kay, you're back. Good to have you.
I'm back. Glad to be here, I guess. How you been?
Me? Good little weekend. Lots of video games have been playing. Lots of wrestling to watch. We got something to watch after this podcast, actually. That'll be fun to do.
Oh boy, I bet.
Fun times. Colin, how you been?
Pretty good. I'm still adjusting to my new job, building up that muscle.
You taking many steroids yet?
Not yet, but I've been taking lots of vitamins and drinking lots of protein powder.
Been drinking Kool-Aid?
Nope. Gatorade.
You'll never join the Dark Order with that attitude.
I was gonna make a Hulk Hogan reference somewhere there, but just
it was getting there. But I thought I'd take a left turn and go somewhere else with it.
I thought you'd take a swerve there.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
I don't want to reference the 80s. That's lame. You got to mention guys like the Meat Man.
Meat Man.
That's right. So today's theme is my theme pick, so you know we're in for a good one. Bad tutorials. Take that for what you will. There's a number of different reasonings behind why you think a game, doesn't start out very well, maybe doesn't explain something well, maybe it's just bad in how it's going. I'm very excited to talk about the number of games we have today. Quick thoughts over the theme. Did you guys enjoy the games chosen?
After the tutorials were over, a couple of them were enjoyable.
Indeed. Weren't
for
they?
The most part, most of them were, all except one.
There's one of them I couldn't get out of the tutorial level at all.
Yes, there was one game in particular that was infuriating beyond reason.
Like, I gave up on that one.
And I don't blame you.
It's not happening.
It wouldn't be bad tutorials if we wouldn't have a couple legendary type games to talk about here. So, games we've been playing. Got a nice, interesting retro topic that I can't wait to talk about that I actually just discovered this morning. So I'm very happy to talk about that in a second here. And of course our theme. So, Kay, we'll begin with you today, since you are here all the way from the wrestling podcast, and your ghost picks will live on forever, but you decided to show up regardless?
Show up in physical form, I guess, right?
Yes. What games have you been playing?
Genshin Impact. That's just kind of all I've been playing. It's, I kind of hit a wall with it, though. I'm getting to the point where the progression is taking too long, and so I've found myself playing less and less time in the game because it's taking so long to get sort of anything going.
Took longer for you to hit that wall than me, that's for sure.
It took the level 20, like world level 20, for me to hit that wall finally. I don't even know how many hours I've been playing it, but probably too many. But I mean, the gameplay is fun. I still enjoy the gameplay loop. It's just I don't enjoy how long it takes for me to get to the next point.
Right, the progression for me was an immediate, this is going to take too long. I don't have this kind of time. I have Yakuza 5 to play. That was my
There are things you
thinking.
can do to sort of help speed up the progression. There's like ley lines you can do that give you a bonus 100 each time. There's quests and missions that give you like multiple experience points to build that up. The problem is when you get higher level, the cap gets bigger, so it takes longer for that to happen.
Mm-hmm.
I found myself almost maxing out all of my ley line things, maxing out some of my quests, and still not being to the next level.
It's the game
and
itself.
That's where I'm done. Right.
Oh, that's a bummer.
It's becoming to the point where because of that, even though I could probably get to that level like today if I wanted to, I just don't feel motivated enough to do it because it's been taking so long.
Well, of course you're not motivated when you have to watch Kota Ibushi versus Sonata in the G1 final later.
Jeez. I don't know if I'm looking forward to that or not.
No, you're definitely looking forward to that. I've heard good things.
Well, I hope so. I hope it's good. That's
So
all I've
just
been
Genshin
doing.
Impact, not some Mortal Kombat. Getting hyped for Melina finally coming out, like
just
3
about
years
to-
after release.
Just about to say that. I've been hopping in and playing a little bit of Mortal Kombat 11. I think I dropped the game about a year or so into its release because it just couldn't gel with any of the characters because my character wasn't in it. My character being Melina, who they announced, I think, was it a week ago, finally in the game.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, yes, finally. I can finally play my teleport bitey bitch. I like her. She's great. She's fun to play.
The way to
And
describe her.
so, well, I mean, that's how I describe her. She teleports, she bites you, and she's great. Well, I don't know what more else I need in this game, but I'm trying to get my bearings back with that. Also played a little bit of Tekken 7 last night. Played a bunch of good matches on that. Got my ass kicked by Eddie Gordo. So, that's always fun.
Oh. That's it for you?
That's it for me.
Well, Colin, you're up next, buddy.
Like before, it's time for my bi-weekly crosscode update.
Yeah, there we go. It's your Final Fantasy VI going on now.
Yeah. Yeah, I've gotten to the point where I now have all 4 elements. I am now the Avatar. Avatar Last Airbender reference for those in the audience.
Yes, indeed.
I got it.
Although they're not the same 4 elements. Instead of water, earth, wind, and fire, it's ice, fire,
Heart.
shock, and wave.
Heart,
Whatever
the best
hell wave
element.
is. Which?
Heart.
Heart, the best element.
Get my tea in there.
You can even try to save the planet while you're at it.
Oh, God.
Don't pollute! I give you heart! The fuck is this?
What kind of element is heart? Don't worry about it.
I forget where I saw it. I was living in Germany, and I happened to, like, flip through a channel, and there was this parody thing going on. It was making fun of, like, 80s cartoons. Oh, I just can't remember what the name was, but it was a real-life parody. So they did Masters of the Universe type jokes and all that, and they were all in costumes and whatnot, and there was like this evil looking guy, and he's just like, he's peeing in the ocean, he's throwing plastic bottles and shit in there, and he's laughing maniacally, and then a guy comes up with a heart ring. He just goes, "Hey, you evil person, stop polluting the waters! I will stop you with heart!" He just like punches him in the face really hard. He's like, "Oh, what the fuck, man?"
That's great.
That's all you can do, and he's just like, "Well, yeah."
You can also get animals to obey his commands.
Yeah, I like their joke better.
What does animals have to do with heart? What does animals have to do with heart?
No,
My
well,
heart
he can
makes animals come to
reach
me,
them.
I guess.
He can reach them because they're dumb animals. Anyways, that was my little tangent into you, Colin. Crosscode. You got the 4 elements, not heart.
Yeah, and now I'm attempting to fight this boss. That's really fucking hard, because the way it works is with the wave element, you've got to charge up these orbs that are laid out around the level, and just this big enemy that has electrical powers keeps attacking, and then you got to stagger him by hitting him with lots of wave element attacks, and then once he's staggered, he'll hit the ground and raise up a bunch of walls, and then you have to charge up one of the orbs and then hit it just right with your projectile attacks at the right angle so that it'll hit the wall, crawl over the wall, and then hit the enemy. And then he'll be truly staggered, and you can just wail on him from there.
Ah. Okay.
So yeah, I tried a few times last night and didn't get anywhere, and then dinner was ready, so watched Blazing Saddles with my family.
Oh, classic movie.
Yeah, pretty funny.
Classic.
But you could not make it today.
It?
No, we ate pizza.
Ah. Not enough farting watching Blazing Saddles. You gotta bring that shit to real life, brah. Brah, yo. That's hip. That's hip in the lingo today, right?
More or less, depending what corner of the internet you're in.
I mean, I use both those words, so I hope so.
Why we're nerds.
But I also have a huge news. I bought myself a Nintendo Switch.
Hell yeah! What is your first game you're getting?
Breath of the Wild.
Classic.
That's what I started playing it, and so far I'm liking it. I haven't been playing it as much as Crosscode, but I've been working my way through the big tutorial section, and it's much better than any of the tutorials we're dealing with today.
Oh, hell yeah, it is.
Oh, I bet.
Game design that actually teaches you the game.
Yeah, really. I also saw, I don't know if you've heard of Blossom Tales, but...
I have heard of this game. I believe I played it for the Modern Game Cast when it came out.
Yeah, it was on sale for half off, so I downloaded that. And then I put a few other things on my wish list, like Carrion and Towerfall and Wargroove.
Wargroove is good. I can confirm that one.
Yeah. Cadence of Hyrule.
Yep.
And a few others I can't quite think of off the top of my head.
Kind of becoming your little retro system like me. Or retro style. I've gravitated towards making the Switch the retro style game, like indie console.
Yeah. That's really the ideal way to play them, because then you can take it anywhere.
Yeah, that was my thinking, and I just think it's the way the Nintendo Switch UI. I wish it had a lot more customization, but Nintendo, and they don't like doing things like that.
Always 2 steps behind.
Right, they're always a generation behind on that. So
yeah. I also, since I got that big payout from my old job that I think I mentioned on the last cast.
Yes, you did.
Yeah. I ended up splurging on a bunch of Switch games and accessories. I got Luigi's Mansion 3 used.
Very good game. That was my game of the year last year.
Nice.
Mm-hmm.
And I got a used copy of Octopath Traveler.
Oh, phenomenal game.
That game. I love that game.
And Cave Story Plus.
I have that one too on Switch. It's that's enjoyable.
Nice. And obviously Smash Bros. Ultimate.
Obviously, so you got to get Switch Online so you, me, and Kay can all play against each other.
That awful online, and it lagged. All that lag.
That's okay. We'll survive. Canadian internet is better anyways.
Probably not wrong.
I had fiber when I was living in Canada. It was fucking awesome.
I have fiber now.
I could stream and upload in like real time. You remember, Colin?
Yep. I also got Super Mario Odyssey.
Oh, my God, you're just knocking it out of the park here with these games.
And Mario Kart 8.
Yeah, well, I mean, yeah, it's a good
just
one.
So I can...
Especially if you don't have a Wii U already.
Yeah. And I don't. Yeah, I picked that up because I want to be able to play that with my nephews someday.
Sure, yeah, absolutely. No, that's a good one.
Yeah. And what else did I get?
Did you get Animal Crossing? Maybe? Uh-oh, did he disappear? Oh, why? Oh, no.
Hello?
Oh my God, Discord just crashed on me.
That's weird. I couldn't hear Kay for a second.
Yeah, they had crashed in general. It's weird.
Yeah, all of Discord crashed in that moment. So, but we're all back. Okay, Colin, the last thing the audience heard was you had gotten, I think, Odyssey, and then I had asked you, did you get Animal Crossing by any chance?
I did not.
Okay. That's a game. I played it for 12 hours, and I was just like, yeah, okay, I've had my fill. It was fun.
Yeah. It's funny, when I went to buy my Switch at EB Games, they said they had the Animal Crossing edition available. They're like, you want to get that one? And I was like, nah, give me the red and blue. They're like, you sure? Yeah, red and blue.
I would have gotten the Animal Crossing one.
I'd have gotten it too, especially because so many people are still clamoring for that system.
Right.
That version of it, at least.
I'm not into Animal Crossing, and I don't want to see it every time I go to play on my Switch.
What Kevin introduced me to was that that lighted up plate that you can attach to your Switch to make it customized.
Ooh.
Yeah, I think you were on that episode when I got it. It's pretty awesome. Yeah, it lights up. It just plugs into one of the ports you don't use in the back. It has switchable plates out between like Odyssey and Breath of the Wild, and you can even go on Amazon and buy a couple other things. I've seen them in GameStops actually.
Nice.
Games for you, Colin. Yeah, it only runs like $15, so you could probably, I guess that's $20 in Canada. So I think it's very well worth it. It gives your Switch a little customization there.
Nice.
Yeah, I like unique looking consoles or putting like a skin on it or something.
Yeah, I also got, or on my wish list, I put Castle Crashers and Overcooked.
Overcooked 2 is the one I recommend.
Yeah, that's the one I have on there.
Yeah, that's a fun little co-op type game you can play with other people.
And Castle Crashers is also co-op, so that's another thing I want to play with my nephews eventually.
Yes. Let's see. What would you be missing there?
He's missing Billion Road. Billion Road.
That would be fun. Yeah. We still got to finish. I don't think we're gonna finish the 15-year journey.
Oh, I don't think we're finishing it at this point. It's been too long.
I mean, we could easily just pick it up and put it back in.
I mean, we could,
but we got Tekken 7 to play after the podcast.
Yeah, we do.
At some point, I want to get what's it called? Astral Chain.
Yes, that is an excellent game, exclusive for the Nintendo Switch. I still need to beat it. I'm a fool, but I'm gonna beat Hollow Knight before I pick Astral Chain back up.
Should also get Fire Emblem. 3 Houses of Here is pretty good.
Well, if he's into that sort of game.
That's very true. If you're into Fire Emblem.
Well, I have to be in the right mood.
Yeah, you definitely have to be.
I'll get more into that when we cover a certain game on the cast.
Yes, indeed. Right. So what is this? After you beat Breath of the Wild, because I know that's going to be 30+ hours of your adventure, what is the second game you're going to dive fully into on the Switch? What's mentally on your queue?
Probably Blossom Tales, but if not that, I'm thinking... If not that, probably Mario Odyssey.
Yeah, that's what I would recommend. Do not get Xenoblade Chronicles 2. Just don't bother with that one.
Yeah, I've already got Xenoblade Chronicles 1 on my Wii.
Yeah, that one's way better.
So I've heard.
Yeah.
Although I hear there's a definitive edition of Xenoblade Chronicles 1 on Switch as well.
Yeah, I think it has like some side story content on it and everything. So take that
maybe
for what
someday.
It's worth. Maybe. Yeah, I don't recommend a game I beat all the way to the end, and yeah, I've gone into many spiels on my thoughts over Xenoblade Chronicles 2. Despite me beating the game, I don't think I'll ever play that again in my life. But someone I know might, and they might want to play it. Anyways, my turn?
My turn.
Oh, okay. I've been a busy boy, guys.
Oh.
A busy boy. Yes. So I beat Crash Bandicoot 4.
Oh, nice.
Yes. Very, very difficult. I beat the whole game playing it on the classic mode, which means you have X amount of lives per level kind of situation. Save points come in between certain instances and levels. Yeah. Wait, it made it classic challenge, basically, from the original 3 had. So I found myself going back to the, original few levels and stocking up lives. Very, very, but I found myself doing that naturally anyways, because I liked trying out some of the time trials, which you naturally get lives that way, trying to get all the boxes on early levels. So that was my little incentive for trying to 100% the game in certain aspects. I tried getting a lot of the hidden tapes. That ended. that quest ended when I got to the final 2 worlds of Crash 4. Those last two worlds just they wrecked my soul, as Kay heard in chat for a couple days there.
Oh, you sounded so miserable.
Oh my god, they were so difficult. Those first time you go through those levels, the second to last level in the game, Colin, I died 64 times.
Oh jeez.
Yeah, I had 75 lives going into that level. It's funny because it has a marker on how many lives you've lost on a stage. That was the most. It's a very tough section. I'll definitely go into that for the modern game cast. Haven't beaten Hades yet. I'm stuck at the same wall Joey was, so we went to the last cast.
That's another game I have on my wish list on Switch.
Yep, $20. It's very much worth it. Game of the year contender, which probably wouldn't say with a stylized game like that, but it totally is. I beat Ghost of Tsushima.
Oh, nice.
Yes, I was not too far from the end. It only took me like an afternoon and a night, or 2 afternoons and a night, something like that left. Very satisfying end to the game. It just I completed all the main side character stories. They're not side stories, they're side characters, right? They're ones that kind of assist you on your journey and kind of make certain missions a little bit easier when you do them. But I did enjoy their stories and their conclusions. It was very good. I had like 3 left for each person, so it didn't take too much time at all. There was a very sad side story with the main character's like old, I don't want to say maid, I would say like retainer of the family. You know, from the old samurai days, there's always, you know, the samurai family has a person in charge of, you know, raising and doing all the cleaning and stuff, and you know, handling affairs, like delivering. Anyways, I gotta tell this story because this was very heartwarming. Where he's got to go, his uncle, Lord Shimoda. He's like, you need to prepare because we're gonna take on the Mongolian leader, Kutan Khan. Go and get your family's honor. And he that's in reference to his dad's old armor, right? So he has to go back home, get the armor. He runs into the only person left from his family, the retainer, right? And she's quite old at this point, and you slowly realize you know you're going with a couple missions for her. She knows how to mold poisons and hallucinogens, so it's kind of cool that there is a purpose, a good purpose, because fuck, it was so satisfying going into Mongolian camps and just pelting people with a hallucinogen, and then they start attacking each other. There's a reason why I was the ghost. But anyways, as you're going through these missions with her, you slowly start to realize that she's suffering from dementia and possibly some other disease that's kind of exacerbating it. And she starts like getting lost and thinking, you know, it's like 40 years ago for her. And unfortunately, the dementia just fully takes over, and your main character realizes that, you know, because she thinks he's his father, right? They look the same age kind of deal. And he just kind of goes with it. He's, you know, because you feel really sad for this woman. And you find out that she had an affair with his father after the mother died, right?
Oh, jeez.
Well, she was dead already, but she was in love with him, and they kind of had one good night at the hot spring, right, kind of deal. And they were deeply in love, but because, you know, samurai and, you know, no lord would be able to have such a relationship. Well, anyways, they're having this like big heart to heart. You know, everything's been revealed. It's, you know, a very well told story to it all. They're on the cliffside, and she's like, it was the best day of my life. I don't regret anything I've done. Does this make me a bad person? He's like, no. And he goes on, he starts saying this like poetic instance to her, and then he looks to the left, and she had passed away, sitting on the cliff, looking over the region. I was like, oh, my heart!
Oh, jeez.
And then it's like, you have obtained poison. I was like, yes! I have obtained the final level of poison. Is those heartwarming and yet very satisfying because I know I'm about to murder some Mongolians. So.
Goddamn Mongolians!
Oh my god, the final fight with the Mongolian leader is fucking awesome. You and all of your side characters are rushing the beach land where all their ships are hanging out. You know, you have this epic fight of the leader on a boat, and Kay heard me like running around in circles trying to avoid this guy, shooting him with explosive arrows and whatnot.
Yelling I'm the ghost.
Yeah, I went full ghost on him. And then the ending scene is exactly what I wanted. You do fight the uncle in the end, and then you're given a choice. I made my choice. I don't regret it. Very vibrant colors going all around. I fought the Mongolian leader in black and white. It was fucking sweet. And then I fought the uncle in color. So I kept with the Kurosawa mode. In and out of it in certain sequences. Very satisfying game. It's definitely in contention for Game of the Year as well. So there's that. I'm making a lot of headway into Bravely Default 2, my new RPG of the time.
Nice.
Yes, I conquered the Wind Temple, saved the crystal. Now I'm off to the Water Crystal Temple and the Retainer of the Water. What do they call them? The Vestal of the Water Temple is missing. The temple's totally abandoned. And now I'm trying to bring her out of hiding by joining a beauty contest. So, very RPG-ish.
I hear it worked for Cloud.
It did work for Cloud. Absolutely, It worked for Cloud. You see that hair, the makeup, that dress? Fabulous.
Dance sequence.
Oh, man. Yeah, Bravely Default 2, I'm enjoying it. It's much more simplistic than I was expecting. It's got you got brave attacks, defense attacks, and then you just have everyone's very very classic oriented between you're a magic, you're a dark magic, you're a monk kind of situation. So I'm making very good progress with it. I looked at just kind of a walkthrough on how long I am into the game already. I'm already like a fourth or fifth of the way through. So it doesn't seem like it's going to be that long, but quite long at the same time. I think it's going to take me significantly less time than Final Fantasy VI. Yeah.
Well, that was a journey for you.
That was an epic journey. It was an all-year journey. So yeah, Bravely Default 2, Bravely Default, I'm enjoying getting ready for BF2 there. BD2, Bravely D. Yeah. Whew. Words, letters. Hollow Knight, I picked up back up again. I was trying to reacclimate myself with the game. I'm like 9 hours into this sucker, and that's like only halfway.
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw, I was like, fuck, I've played this game 9 hours? Where am I? Look at a walkthrough. Oh my god, I'm only halfway. Hard as shit. And I remembered why I put it down in the first place, because I was having such a difficult time with it. And the big reason is I haven't gotten like any health upgrades in the game.
Oh,
like,
really?
None. I still have only like 4 containers of health.
Gotta find them heart pieces, man.
I gotta find those heart pieces. So I just what I think I'm gonna do is I'm gonna just pull up the walkthrough, and because I've only gotten 1 upgrade, I think, to the point. So I've clearly missed like all of them in the game. So I just gotta look up a walkthrough to see where all these are. But yeah, I'm definitely wanting to beat Hollow Knight. You just kept talking about it, Colin. I'm like, I really gotta pick this game back up. So on nights where I'm like not feeling the RPG-ness of Bravely Default, I'll just pick up the Switch and play some more Hollow Knight, which I did one night. So
that Metroidvania cast was a good one then.
Yeah, it kind of sparked the interest back in that game. And then Yakuza 5. My Yakuza journey of 2020. I'm running out of time, guys. Yakuza 7's right around the corner. I
wish I had that kind of time in the day.
Dude, when you live alone and you're single and all you do is go to work and then come home, you got time.
Yeah, when you work 8-hour days. I work 12.
Well, I mean, yeah, so you have 4 hours less.
4 hours less.
I'm sure my bowels will be happy with that.
Absolutely. So yeah, Yakuza 5, I completed all of Kiryu's section. That's so there's 4 parts of the game plus a final section. So very similar to Yakuza 4. Kiryu is a taxi driver. I mentioned this when I first popped it in and discovered, but I beat all of Kiryu. He has a very epic taxi interfering into warring families moment to end his section, and then he picks up the paper and he turns on the radio because this cop is like, dude, you can't escape the Yakuza world. It's gonna pull you back in. And Kiryu's like, don't tell me what to do, Mom. He turns on the radio because the cop's like, probably listen to the news, man. Yeah, that was weird. And he turns it on. Majima is dead. He has been murdered. That's enough to pull Kiryu back in, and that ends his section. Very cool. Very slow going, but I was still very much into the story, and the fighting was a good continuation. The Yakuza I like, just a little slow on the story progression part. And then it began part 2, which is with Seijima, the prison character, for Majima's best friend that went to prison for getting set up, 20 years ago, and to kind of prove himself to the family and not cause issues. And for some of his past deeds, he's going to go back to prison voluntarily for like 2 or 3 years or whatever, right? Like, okay, so you kind of wander around, then a scene happens, he goes back to prison, then it cuts back into prison, so very much kind of what Yakuza 4 did with this guy. The problem is, you have like this weird detective story, this guy comes in, and he's trying to aggravate you, so you're not going to make parole, so it's all a setup. Someone was sent from the outside, so you kind of get, in the back of your head, you kind of know what's going on, but the gameplay is very boring. It's just a lot of talking, and then when you finally escape the prison, there is a very cool escape sequence for the story purposes that's awesome. Like, prison guards are getting their throats slit by the inmates, a bunch of inmates are escaping, trying to stop you. Very cool stuff. And then the fucking outdoor hunting part happens.
Oh boy.
Oh yeah. So you escape the prison, you end up in this like hunting village. And you're like being taught how to hunt with a rifle, and you do fight a bear, which is pretty awesome. But that's like after you escape the prison. You crash your snowmobile that you escaped into, and you fight this just huge ass bear, punching it in the face and everything. It's pretty sick. But yeah, this guy's like, I'm gonna teach you how to hunt, and you gotta gather food, and there's like weather conditions you gotta be wary of, and then you gotta snare rabbits. I'm like, what the fuck is this? And it takes forever. I was playing that section all night, remember, Kay?
Yeah, so it was like Red Dead Redemption.
Oh, it was horribly boring. And then it's just, the roads are opened up. You can come back and, kill the bear if you want. Like, all this was for a fucking side story? Oh, what a waste of time. So, and that's like a good chunk of his part in general. So now I'm fine. There's even like dream sequences in the prison which have nothing to do with anything. Like, imagine you're not in prison anymore. Yeah, I'm imagining it right now, playing in the streets. So yeah. I just have this one final section of Seijima, apparently, and that's the end of part 2, and I'm like halfway through the game already. So, whew. Yakuza 5, definitely hit and miss in parts. It's very slow. Very slow. It's definitely not my not in my top 3 in its current standing, with the way the Seijima section has gone. Definitely worse than 4. Definitely worse than 4. I think that's my update. I think that's everything. Yes. Did you guys enjoy that?
More or less.
More or less.
It was quite a lot of games you've beaten, that's for sure.
Dude, I've been a busy boy.
Clearly.
I need to get back on that 13 Sentinels game. Try to at least beat that.
Yeah, I gotta continue going into that game for the podcast. Maybe I'll just bring you on, Kay, and you can tell me about it.
Sure, I guess. I gotta play some more of it, though.
Yeah, maybe I'll just do that. That way I can just continue on Bravely Default and stuff.
You should have me on for the November Modern Cast, because that's when Kingdom Hearts Memory of Melody comes out.
Oh, fine.
Kingdom Hearts, a rhythm game?
Yes. And I pre-ordered it.
Oh, no. Boo.
Suck it. I love this series.
But Cyberpunk comes out in November. That's more important.
I got the money for that too. But do I have the time? Probably not.
Probably not. But he's got time for rhythm games.
Kingdom Hearts themed rhythm games.
Damn right.
Yeah, maybe I'll do that. That'll be the special November cast. All right, we're talking about this one. I didn't play it, but this guy did. Maybe we'll do that. It'll be unique and fun for the next cast. I'll have to mark that down. All right, let me play this Mega Man drop, and we can get to the one topic I want to talk about here.
Okay.
All right, so I'm now going to link this to you guys in the Discord chat. This is awesome. It is called the Analog Duo, and it will be the definitive way to play all of the TurboGrafx type games. TurboGrafx 16, CD, PC Engine, Super Graphics, the PC Engine CD-ROM games, the Super Arcade CD-ROM games, all in one package, and very much more affordable. And it's got Bluetooth controller setups and everything. This is really, really cool, and it's region-free. It plays it all. Hooks up 480p, 1080p, lag-free. It's exactly what is needed for this retro gaming community. If you're a big TurboGrafx fan, PC Engine, because one of the big problems with the Super CD-ROM and the PC Engine CD-ROM is the hardware in it. It's just so old now that it just can't hold up, right? Just too much time has passed. You're gonna have to, replace parts, and parts of the circuitry are out of whack. It's just not sustainable for those games. And there's a lot of good Japan games that came out on the CD-ROM that you would love to play. I mean, the big one is Castlevania, Rondo of Blood. That's the big one.
Oh, yeah.
And now with the Wii Store, the eShop down, and you can't buy those anymore. Those old Turbo games on their store. This is a great retro system to solve a lot of this. So it's comes in two colors, white and black. I think I'm definitely leaning towards white. Just looks a lot slicker to me. It's being set at about $200 and will ship in limited quantities in 2021. Pre-order details have not yet been announced, but it's something to keep an eye out for. They will also release a HuCard adapter for Analog Pocket. So they're even kind of doing a TurboGrafx handheld, because that did release at some point. So they're really coming out with everything here. It looks really, really cool. I'm definitely leaning towards getting one. Yeah, it's right up my alley. Definitely look into it. It's right on Polygon's front page. You can easily find it. If you had the scratch, like Colin over here, you were into the TurboGrafx world, and you were interested in CD-ROM games and collecting, is this something you'd be interested in?
I mean, I guess if I had an interest in it, I could definitely see the appeal in something like this, especially because it's an all-in-one, which is usually pretty helpful.
Yeah.
There are separate systems for it. It looks pretty sleek from the pictures of the article, but it's not something that I would probably get currently. But if I was into it, I can definitely see the appeal.
I'm really thinking about just putting the money to the side and getting this thing. It's very tempting, very, very tempting.
I get this before I get the PS5 at this rate.
Well, at this rate, yeah, right. Yeah, you're exactly right. You're definitely not wrong. Because I have a bunch of PC Engine TurboGrafx games, and the only way I can play any CD-ROM game is the ones I have on the eShop that I bought years ago. But if I wanted to continue that collection going, even digitally, I can't do that. So this is kind of the only way to do that.
It definitely is probably more helpful. And I imagine playing the original disc is maybe better than a digital emulation, because sometimes those are hit or miss too.
I mean, not the ones that were released on the eShop. I haven't had any issues, but like Blazing Lasers or something like that. There's a bunch of shooters that came out in Japan on the CD-ROM that are very affordable, but yeah, there's just no way to play any of these unless you, because if you go on like eBay and stuff, the old PC Engine CD-ROMs, they go for like $200, and they're not guaranteed to work, and you still have to do all this part replacement and stuff. So if you're gonna, I mean, if you want the original hardware, that's one thing, but this is a very viable option that just didn't exist before.
I wish they would more systems would come out like this. Like I kind of want a Dreamcast sort of variation of something like this with like more of the Sega systems.
Yeah,
that'd be a lot helpful.
Like an all-in-one Dreamcast, Sega Saturn. I believe Analog has made various systems that can do that. I believe they have. I'd have to.
That would be helpful for like
more.
Me to some extent, especially if it's region free. There's definitely games, especially on the Sega Saturn. Like there's an SMT game that I've been wanting to play that has a fan translation patch, but it never ever got released over. I think it's called Nines, something like that.
Yeah, I've heard of this.
But I don't want to play that. Yeah, it was supposed to be an online game, but also had an offline single player, but the online just never manifested. They made that to a separate game, I think. But it's notorious for being bad because you can't translate it and it's kind of glitchy and clunky, but I kind of still want to play it because it looks cool.
Let's see. Oh, so I'm going to have to sign up to this thing. I'm really thinking about getting this because this is really, really cool.
Yeah. How much does it go for?
$200. And it's all original it's all engineered hardware. It is not emulation.
That's probably also pretty good too.
Yeah. Compatible in all formats. It's everything you want. You can even connect your original controllers to the system. It does have the ports to it. You don't even need the Bluetooth ones.
That's cool.
Yeah. It's all there. Very cool. Yeah, I'm gonna definitely have to sign up for this. 100%.
Yeah.
It plays everything. That's also cool. Because unlike me and I bought a Wii to play some GameCube games, and none of them play on it for some reason. It plays GameCube games. It can't play my damn Beyblade's GameCube game. It bothers me. Bothers me so bad. I'm like, I remember this when I was a kid. Let me play this. Oh, it doesn't read it? That's cool. It plays GameCube games, though, but it just won't play this one. Very frustrating.
See. Mega SG. This what? Okay, so I'm looking at the site, and they have this is Mega Sega. This looks like it plays Master System and Genesis games all in one. I think you can actually buy it now. Okay, so that doesn't play Saturn games. NT Mini. What is this?
It's like a Nintendo version.
Yeah, there's a Super Nintendo, NES. Okay, yeah. So, yeah, it's like a Nintendo Mini. It also plays. It's all region free, so that's the point of that. Hyperdub. I know I've seen something where it can play. Anyways, I'm diving into a rabbit hole here live. That's probably not the best thing in the world. Anyways, let's play the Final Fantasy VIII drop. Reason for that. As we get to the theme here. Dun, 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 dun. Yay! Bad tutorials! We've made it, boys. This was my theme pick. And I don't regret it, because we learned some things today.
Indeed.
I learned what a slalom was.
Did you?
Wherever that term is. No, I didn't. I Googled it and still don't know what it is.
Oh, all right. Well, so bad tutorials. These are games that poorly start you out in the game, properly don't explain a crucial element to the game, properly don't teach you the controls, because you put in a game in the modern era today, there's like huge tutorial sections because the control schemes are very complicated. I mean, the Ghost of Tsushima control scheme is very intuitive, but there's a lot that you have to be taught. Like L2 does this, and then you can switch between the face buttons and the D-pad, and then R2 does this, and you can do that, but then you gotta quick select the R1, and there's wild stuff. If the tutorial wasn't there, I wouldn't know what the hell to do at anything, right? These games we're about to talk about are all kind of in their own realm of bad tutorial, and I really like the variety we have here. And the first game that I picked was something that's near and dear to my heart, something we didn't cover on the Final Fantasy cast. It's Final Fantasy VIII. Came out on the PlayStation, developed and published by Square, released February 11th, 1999. I got this shortly after my 11th birthday. I was very happy to get that day. And the bad tutorial that's in this game is a crucial element to the game. It is the junction system. Now, when I first played this, I did what's called the rookie mistake of Guardian Force spamming, which I went through the whole game basically just using magic and Guardian Forces. That's all I would do. And because of this, you don't level up your characters in quite the correct way, right? You know, your strength is underpowered, your health is under leveled. You're not stat boosting your characters, so then you end up reaching a few points in the game where it's nearly impossible to actually beat those bosses because you're so underleveled. And as I found out years later, that Final Fantasy VIII does not have a level grinding system. No matter at what point you are in the game, the enemies will match your level. No matter what. They level up with you. So there's no point in grinding, which I really appreciate.
Cool.
Yes. Why is the junction system so important? Well, the game, when you begin and you first get Guardian Forces, it basically tells you about summons, and it kind of mentions what junction does, and it's you think it's something like Final Fantasy VI, right? Where it's simply, okay, I just assign an Esper and then it will learn magic, okay? Well, there's a lot more to it, and the game does a very poor job explaining the importance to this, because if you don't know the junction system, you are going to have a very difficult and probably not fun time in the game. So the junction system, and I actually watched a full 20-minute tutorial on explaining the junction system and how important it is to the game, because I've played Final Fantasy VIII a number of times, right? But I've never really understood the junction system. I always thought it was kind of the way the game explains it. My understanding originally was you assign a Guardian Force to your character, okay? And then you go into learn abilities, right? And there's an auto function on it, which the game actively gets the summon to learn the most useless thing. So you have to assign strength and HP and a number of other stat boosts over time. Then one thing that I never understood is the importance of having magic in your possession. So if you have 10 fires, let's say 10 fires, keep it simple. The stat boost you're going to get from learning Ifrit is going to be very minuscule. So that's the importance of drawing from enemies in battle. So you have, let's say, 50 fires, right? Little grinding, that's the little grind involved, because every Final Fantasy there is some grinding. The grind is actually acquiring all of these different magics. So when you have 50 fires and you have the proper junction assigned, you will then have bigger and better stat boosts accordingly to how many more fires you are. So this is the difference between doing like 50 damage and 5,000 damage. Follow me so far?
Sort of.
Got any questions?
No, I think I'm understanding. I'm trying to remember what it does in the game, how all these menus work, but I know when I played it, I didn't understand a single bit of it and just kind of like muscled my way through it. I've only beaten it once, so.
Right, and that's what makes it super difficult, right?
Right.
And there's a number of ways you can play Final Fantasy VIII. And I've even watched a good chunk of a Let's Play where you can beat the game only using the card system. You know, that stupid card game in the game?
That's great.
Yeah, where you can be like, all your characters are like level 1, but you're still like wrecking people with 50,000 damage because you have acquired all these cards and grinded through card battles for like 6 hours. Because you can realistically beat this game with level 1 characters, but you have to like put 6 to 8 hours aside just grinding through card battles. So that's a very... I kind of want to play through Final Fantasy VIII one time doing that, but I think I'd rather watch a Let's Play and not do the 6-hour grind.
Right, it sounds miserable.
So the junction system, I was playing around with it a lot in Final Fantasy VIII, and when I watched that tutorial and then you know, it's all about assigning and playing with various stat boosts, and it's a big chunk of the game that you don't realize its importance for, and that's what makes a lot of people just not... I feel like this is what a lot of people don't like about Final Fantasy VIII, is its reliance on the junction system and how poorly it explains it to you. Because I'm guilty. As a child, I did not use this at all. Because I didn't know to use it, and I didn't know how to use it. So, what is Final Fantasy VIII? So that's the importance of the tutorial there. You are Squall and a band of friends, and there's wars happening behind all these like mobile fortresses, right? And there's an evil witch lady, and she has, I guess, world domination plans. And your objective, I mean, you're kind of this rogue agent, and you're kind of assigned to assassinate her, and that's kind of your, I guess, midpoint in the game would be the point. And there's fan theories out there that Squall is actually like dead the whole time, but it's kind of been debunked through various things that happen in the game. It's a JRPG, turn-based battle system, random encounter system throughout the game. You come across big boss battles throughout, where sometimes you will fight a guardian force, or you'll fight characters in the game. Squall has a rival that has joined the dark side. His name is Cypher. And there's, of course, the princess that joins you, Renoa, right? That is his romance. So it's very much in the realm of your typical Final Fantasy love story / world ending type plot. And it's got kind of a... How would you describe the environment in the game? It's not quite sci-fi, but it's kind of futuristic. Everything's very slick and white in the game.
Maybe like a pseudo sci-fi sort of deal. I'm trying to think of a name for it too, but it's kind of like not steampunky or cybery like 7, but kind of like maybe more clean.
Yeah, clean. Yeah.
I think it's something to do with like technology powered by magic. So it's like Magitech Punk or something.
Magitech Punk. It was giving me the same vibe. I mean, since I just played Final Fantasy VI, it was giving me similar vibes to that, but instead of like in medieval time, it almost feels like it's in that same universe. In a weird way, and now it's just way off in the future. Because there was a mobile fortress in Final Fantasy VI, right? Anyways, so what made this game like so incredible of the time is its full use of 3D graphics and pre-rendered backgrounds, and the 3D graphics and the cutscenes blew my mind in 1999. Was I alone in this?
Oh no, that's the whole reason why I got the game. Like, I think I had beaten 7 for like the 4th or 5th time, and I saw a commercial for it on TV, I think the same day, and I immediately wanted it. Like, I mowed so many lawns to get this game.
There you go.
Yeah, I didn't play this until like grade 11 or 12 myself.
Ooh, did you beat it?
Yes.
Oh. So, controversy to the ending of the game. So the third disc is where I always got stopped. And that's when I fight Cypher's 2 henchmen. Where I always get stuck and you can't like exit the garden that you go into. Mobile Fortress. It's called Gardens in the game. The fourth disc is like Ragnarok, world-ending type, like crazy shit's happening.
Time compression.
Time compression. You end up in space or some shit. And
Dude, that was always weird to me as a kid. I was like, why am I in space all of a sudden?
And the base is called Lunatic Pandora.
Lunatic Pandora. Oh my god, I've totally forgot.
I almost forgot about that.
It's been like 20 years since I've even played the fourth disc.
It's been a while for me too.
I don't remember the ending except that you're like in space and there's like spacesuits and world-ending stuff is happening. You guys remember?
The ending was more like they were having a party back at the garden, and then Squall and Renoa reunite, and then kiss, and then credits roll.
Oh, well, at least they had a somewhat romantic ending there. You know they banged. We know they banged.
Oh, they definitely banged. They probably banged before that moment.
Oh my god, they probably banged at the party at the beginning of the game.
They probably banged in the spaceship. I mean, how do we know they didn't?
We know the subtext here.
It's been a long time since I've gotten to the. I do remember the ending, like the ending cutscene. I think because I liked it so much as a kid, that I sort of just remember it, even though I haven't gotten to that point in the game. And since then, I've only beaten it one time because we get stuck at certain points in the game. The first time, I think I just muscled through. I don't know how I beat it, but I just think I just did. It just took forever.
Mm-hmm.
I remember being like it was super difficult, but I guess the junction system is why, because I didn't use it.
Yeah, so I got the Final Fantasy wiki here, and it says Guardian Forces earn ability points, something I didn't mention, after battles, which are automatically allocated to special abilities that the GFs will learn. When a Guardian Force has learned an ability, the ability becomes available for any character in the party in case of these field abilities. These abilities allow characters to attack more efficiently, refine magic spells from items, and receive stat bonuses upon leveling up. Access shop remotely and use additional battle commands. So the ability points, along with the junction system, is there. I didn't even mention that. I forgot to mention that. So that's a whole other section of that system that just isn't explained very well at all. So there was a whole side tangent there that I didn't even get into. So it's a very poor part of the game. That's very crucial, actually. And this is saying it's highly European in design with modern to futuristic locales. So that's how it describes it as.
I can see that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think Final Fantasy VII was kind of the same way.
Sort of, yeah. So my usual team, when the team wasn't split out into bullshit, was Squall, Renoa as, of course, the cure person, and then I use Quistis a lot, or Quistis, or however you pronounce her name. But
yeah,
you
I
guys,
used her a lot too.
Because you know Squall and her banged. You know that.
I probably banged a ton.
Oh yeah, especially in school.
Oh yeah, those lessons. I mean, there's a reason why he was in the nurse's office at the beginning of the game.
Oh man, nice nightly whipping session.
I mean, she did say, "Hey, let's go after this party. Let's go sneak over to this one area."
Yeah,
That's not
right.
the first time they've done that.
Oh yeah, there's a lot of good subtext in the game. It's funny, very funny.
And she's always finishing his sentences.
Mm-hmm. You don't get that way overnight. Just saying. Just saying.
Yeah.
So what was your general party, Colin?
I can't really remember. I only played like an hour, or had time for an hour during the intervening time.
Sure, yeah, I understand. It's all about the tutorials anyways we're going through here.
Yeah, I think my main party when I was playing before was Squall, Zell, and Renoa.
Yeah, sounds about right. What about Irvine? Were you a big Irvine guy?
Yeah. I remember one YouTuber making a really funny spoof of Zell's introductory cutscene where he, how he like does all those gymnastics flips, and then it ends with a close up of his face and him pointing his thumb at himself.
Oh right, yeah.
A guy actually edited in a roll of Mentos in his hand and then put Mentos the Fresh Maker on screen.
That's great.
It was freaking hilarious. And then it's interesting to note that Hironobu Sakaguchi didn't really do much in developing this game, since at the time he was busy helping to make the movie Final Fantasy The Spirits Within.
Right.
A great movie.
Which, if I'm honest, I didn't find to be that bad, but that's off topic.
I saw it in theaters. I didn't find it terrible at all.
It was okay. It didn't blow me away, but I don't remember it being as bad as some people make it out to be.
See, there we go. We're all in agreement.
Yeah. Yeah, Yoshinori Kitase was the director of this game, and Shinji Hashimoto was the producer.
Shinji Hashimoto, eh?
Yeah.
There's a number of many jokes I can make with a name like that.
I'm sure.
Shinji Hashimoto. I mean, come on. It's right there. Right, Kay?
Yeah, it's like Shinji from Evangelion and Chihiro Hashimoto from Sendai Girls.
Well, I mean, that's one. That's one direction you could go with it. Sure.
So my bride went with it.
Yeah, personally, I remember not really being all that into Squall and Renoa's romance when I played it the first time. Just in my eyes, it was just Renoa constantly making advances on him, and him just being, yeah, whatever, the whole time.
Whatever, Mom.
I'm too cool for this.
Yeah.
That's what the Raven character in WCW was all about.
Oh my god, he's Raven, you're right.
I like my jacket. You leave me alone.
Whatever, man.
Yeah,
Squall, we gotta go home. Oh, come on, Mom.
Tell me what to do.
You can't tell me what to do, instructor.
What about Squall?
I could pull that up right now, actually, but anyways. I don't want to play that drop.
Yeah, that's why I prefer Zidane and Garnet's romance in Final Fantasy IX, as well as Tidus and Yuna's. They're not one-sided the whole time, and it felt more natural. But I was a teenager at the time, so maybe there's some subtleties in Squall's behavior I didn't grasp. Or maybe I just have different tastes from the rest of the Final Fantasy fandom.
You weren't dialed into your emo-ness, Colin. Come on, bro.
Yeah, not enough Linkin Park was listened to. You gotta get in the mindset for it, man.
I did listen to Linkin Park way back when. I just didn't.
Gotta dye your hair black and just Mom, leave me alone. I'm going to my room. You really gotta
put a scar on your face.
You really gotta dial into that mentality and emotions.
Gotta have one.
You understand.
Gotta have one eye covered by my bangs.
Now that I think about it, a lot of Final Fantasy characters have leather jackets over the years.
Yeah, you noticing a trend?
Oh no. Are they all Raven?
I don't know. Squall's jacket was more like a suede jacket.
I don't know about that one, Colin. I'm definitely leaning toward Raven was always a mainstay Final Fantasy character.
Leather pants for sure.
Get my own fan fiction going here now in my head. Dream sequences are in this game that are very, very strange. Are they the same characters, or are they characters of the past?
Yeah, who knows?
Exactly. I don't fucking know. Now,
I remember with what's his face? Shit.
It was with an L. I remember.
Laguna.
Yeah, Laguna.
Yeah, he's a past character. It's heavily implied he's Squall's dad.
Really? I thought it was just another lifetime, like he was reincarnated and he was just barreling into the past.
Yeah, that's kind of what I thought it was too.
That's how I always thought it was.
Yeah, I always saw it as just the past.
Then why would he have his dad's memories?
Somebody else was trying to alter history from the future. It sounds like. I think it was Elone, whatever her name was.
Elaine, whatever. Yeah, that's actually Renoa, but not, or was it the Idea, the sorceress? I don't know, something like that. It's very strange. It's very, very, very strange, and I think the thing that throws a lot of people off is it keeps like cutting back to an old orphanage where all these characters were as children, but then they all conveniently don't remember each other. But they all remember the orphanage.
It's super duper weird.
Yeah, that's probably the biggest plot sequence of just like head scratching moments. Regardless, I am very much. This is my favorite Final Fantasy, and it's not with just the nostalgia factor. Just the way the game plays. And now that I was messing around with the junction system, I was actually barreling through this game. Like what would have taken me, because it was just like GF spamming and shit. I found myself just going physical attack, so the battles were going by much quicker. I was putting enemies away faster, especially bosses. I was very surprised. What probably would have taken me like 10 hours, I was able to do in like 3. And it also helps that I've played this game a number of times, and I just know exactly where to go next.
Yeah, that's the only way with Final Fantasy VII. That was my favorite. That's the one where I just kind of pick it up and I just kind of know where I need to go at all times.
Right. Now, I do like Final Fantasy VII. And the more of the remake comes out, part 2 and stuff, because I still have never beaten Final Fantasy VII.
Oh, do you know the ending though? You know the ending stuff, right?
I know a scene that ends up happening.
I don't know why you're tiptoeing spoilers. This game is so old.
A certain girl gets a sword through her chest. Which is kind of cool.
Yes. I remember the first time I played through this, I was mad because it killed my white mage. I don't think I comprehended that she couldn't come back when that happened. And so when I found out that you couldn't use her anymore, I was like, God, that's my healer.
Anyways.
Yeah. Well, gameplay-wise, I like that Final Fantasy VIII gives you the ability to increase attack power with like in-battle QuickTime events, at least with Squall.
Sure, yeah.
When you hit the R button at the right time as he swings his sword, he'll pull the trigger on his gun blade, and if you time it right, it takes off more of the enemy's health than a regular swing.
Reminds me of Legend of Dragoon with the attack.
Yeah, I was just going to say, although I like the way Legend of Dragoon does it better.
Yeah, so do I.
Yeah.
So, I mean, besides like the plot being kind of weird in sequences, and especially the ending with, you know, Final Fantasy shit happening, to say the least, yeah, things got weird when 7 came out. It's never been the same since.
No, it has not.
Because I played 6, and I'm like, that was a very tame ending. Where was the space? Where was the world-ending plot? Where was the random godlike powers? I guess technically Kefka had godlike powers.
The emo characters.
Where are the emo characters? Where's Raven?
Where's my emo main character?
I'm passing Final Fantasy VIII.
Yeah, I pass it.
There we go.
I passed it.
Okay. All right, my second. Let's see. How much does Final Fantasy VIII go for? I know you can buy it in all various stores. It's very cheap. It's like $10. You can find it. It says $3 for the Japan copy.
Why am I so low?
Yeah. All right. My second game. So we spoke a lot about the RPG. No surprise there. My second game, and you knew it was coming, is a game called Immercenary. And it's developed by 5 Miles Out and published by Electronic Arts. It's an EA game. And it came out on the 3DO September 22nd, 1995. Yes. It's a role-playing shooter. You can believe that.
Yeah.
It has full FMV cutscenes at the beginning. You are a numbered experiment, let's call it. You are fodder to be sent into a virtual world. And no joke, this is, if you die in the game, you die for real.
It's SAO before SAO.
It is
it's more the Matrix before the Matrix.
No, it is confirmed they are in a game that they can't log out of. That is something that is revealed
before Sword Art Online happened.
It is .hack, but everyone's stuck.
It's an isekai.
Actually, it's the opposite of .hack. It is .hack in which everyone else in the game is stuck, while you, the character, can log in and out freely. But if you die in the game, you do in fact die for real. So that is all secret. So what happens is you're in this like science-based thing, and they send you are number 5, not to be confused with wrestler Alan Angels of the Dark Order.
Career ender Alan Angels.
Yes. Career ender. So you're sent into this world, and it plops you into this virtual open like MMORPG, and that's what's happening here. You piece together information when you talk to various NPCs of the world. That this is an MMORPG that you are in, so the world itself and the premise of the game is very interesting. Now, why is this a game in the bad tutorials? Well, you have this FMV sequence. You are thrown into this virtual space, and the game literally tells you nothing. Absolutely nothing. You have no clue where to go. You have no clue what to do. You don't know the point to any of this. And to top it all off, there are NPCs that lie to you about what to do. So when I say bad tutorial, it is the complete absence of a tutorial.
Is why this game's on the list. Straight.
You can't even go straight, because every time you boot up the game and start a new game, you are plopped randomly. You don't start in the same part every time on this map. And so now I'll explain what you are actually supposed to do, because I had to look this up. There's a white center dot on the map, and you have to make your way and survive just getting to the center point. And you have 3 things in the game. You have offense, defense, and agility. They're very low. They're your 3 bars at the top of the screen. Yellow, red, green. Okay? And your only attack is to shoot lasers from your virtual fists out on various enemies trying to kill you in the game. Because this is an MMO, and it's like every man for themselves. So imagine like Fortnite, in a way, in 1995.
So Fortnite means Sword Art Online. Gotcha.
Yeah. So when you shoot and kill characters, they have like this wild, I guess, essence they leave behind in the background. And you run into it, and the screen does a little jolt. And then that is you leveling up your character, and you have to kill enough of them to actually level up. Now, you get to the center. You get to this white center dot, and you start talking to all these FMV characters and NPCs that aren't FMVs. And eventually you learn that the FMV characters are actually the 10 bosses that you have to defeat in the game in order to then go to the big final boss, whom is called the Perfect One, aka God of the game, right? And you learn that the Perfect One, or God, is actually named Perfect Rob. He is a character in the game that has he has full-on Sword Art Online it all, where he is preventing everyone from logging out of the game, and until you beat him, everyone's stuck in it. So there you go. There's that. And if you notice on the map, there's a lot of red, like, building type things on the map. Those are where your bosses are. The thing about the NPCs is they lie to you about certain things, but they tell you the truth over certain things. So you find yourself like writing down key pieces of information, because they tell you how to defeat bosses, where to get certain items, but they could steer you in the wrong direction and cause you to go into a place where a boss is in which you are underleveled. Now, ask me how I played this game, Kay.
How did you play this game?
I cheated. So on GameFAQs, there is a cheat code that you could put in to max out all your abilities and toggle on and off invincibility. And what this also does is gives you all the weapons in the game, so you don't have to grind. And when I say grind, it's a good 20 hours of grinding. So you can be strong enough just to defeat these random bosses, or not random, but you get the idea. Just to be able to defeat these bosses, and then as I found out, God kicks your ass, and even if you're maxed out, he can kill you in a matter of seconds because he's God and he will wreck you. So yeah, I turned on all the cheats, and you could beat this game in just over an hour after that. And
how many nukes did it take to beat God?
Exactly 5, by the way.
Oh,
turns out God is weak to 5 nukes.
Not so tough, is he?
God is not so tough to 5 nukes. So now I'm curious. What was your experiences, guys?
I YouTubed it.
I imagine you did.
Same.
So I got the video. I think you linked me a video talking about it, and I think I sort of understood, but I think I more understood from what you were telling me.
I was posting in Discord. I was screenshotting. I did play this game on an emulator, but I did end up buying the game on eBay because I weirdly really enjoyed this game. It's really good. The problem is the tutorial's horrible because it gives you no direction, and the fact that it requires 20 hours of grinding. But luckily, there's a code where you can just say "fuck it, I'm not doing that," and make yourself strong accordingly. So you watched the YouTube video, Colin. What did you think?
It didn't really catch my interest per se. I mean, I admit the comic panel style in the beginning cutscene is kind of cool.
It's very unique, isn't it?
Yeah, it reminds me of the cutscenes from Phantasy Star 4.
Yes, you're absolutely right. Except this also has FMVs mixed with those comic book things.
Yeah. Much like virtually every other 3DO game, it has the live action filming.
Yeah. This is a 3DO exclusive, by the way, guys. You can only play this on the 3DO.
Doesn't surprise me.
Well, I mean, it must have been a great exclusive. Are they still making consoles?
Electronic Arts still making games to this day. They seem to be doing pretty good.
Story. Loot boxes, right?
But yeah, the conversations with the NPCs remind me a lot of Bethesda's Fallout games.
Yeah, I was thinking something very similar, Mass Effect type stuff.
That's what I was getting to.
And Elder Scrolls and Dragon Age.
Yeah, way ahead of its time when you think about it. A lot of these aspects they had in this game.
Yeah. But aside from that, it just didn't really catch my interest. I don't think I'd really want to play it.
Oh no, trust me, it is trippy as fuck. So let me describe some of the FMV characters, your bosses, if you will. There is a lady in all purple onesie in which she's grabbing her boobs all the time. It's really funny.
Yeah, I remember seeing that.
There is a character whom is his midsection and his limbs are in half, but they're electricity. He's an electric man. There is a Wicked Witch of the West, Fantasia? No. Shit. What's that Disney movie? Maleficent.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Sleeping Beauty.
Sleeping Beauty. Yeah. There's one lady that looks like her, which is weird. Yeah. There's really wacky characters. I didn't see them all, but I did beat all the bosses. I did beat this game. I did defeat God, as I said, 5 nukes. But the bosses are very, very unique and fun. So what ends up happening is, you go to their buildings, and then it like warps you into their world, the boss's world, right? And they each have their own unique environment that you have to beat them in. Beat them at their own game kind of situation. And the electric dude was very cool because he had electric pylons everywhere, and he was like absorbing energy from it, and he runs around. He's also weak to nukes. Spoiler: they're all weak to nukes. But
shocking.
Yeah. So you can kill him pretty quick. So one thing so once you kill them, and then you run into their like left behind essence, the world like breaks down, kind of like a virtual world. It reminded me of that like old Toonami cartoon. What is it called? It's like Welcome to Mega Grid. You guys remember this show?
The only thing that comes to mind is either Reboot or Mega Man NT Warrior.
It's definitely Reboot I was thinking of. So like you beat the boss, and that world breaks down and disappears. It's really cool sequences, and they're all very unique to each other. And as you're wandering around the world, there's like weird trippy shit happening. Like there's a giant eyeball you can come across just staring at you, and it follows you. Like, what is going on? Now, I will say, if you suffer from epilepsy, you will not be able to play this game. There's a lot of flashing lights.
Jesus. That sounds like a bad thing then.
Yeah, there's a lot of flashing lights. It's really... They're not overwhelming, I would say, but it would definitely trigger something. Don't get me wrong. The movement of the game isn't what you think. It moves like you're moving your character like a plane. A
plane.
Yeah, like up is down, down is up kind of situation. Everything's very momentum based in a weird way. So the character is always moving forward, so you actually have to press down to stop him. So it's like he's always on a tread, It's a very strange control scheme, very unique. I've never played anything quite like this one, especially for a shooter / RPG.
It's the first time I've ever heard of a control scheme like that.
Yeah, it's very strange. So this is a very, very unique story. I was weirdly into it. I did, of course, have to cheat because the grind is not acceptable.
Not acceptable. Must cheat.
And the tutorial is lack thereof. It's pretty bad. I think it's worth, especially if you're a 3DO fan or you want a very unique game, I think it's worth diving into like its universe, and it's just so weird and unique. And you will have a fun time with it. I do recommend cheating, though. There's just no way around that. I will pass the game based only on that, right? Now, at its base, of course it fails, right? But I'm playing this in 2020. I had a blast with this game. I'm passing it. It's one of my favorite 3DO games now.
I guess I'll pass it by default for 5 nukes beat guide.
Yes, K. Woo! A 3DO game passes.
I guess I'll just barely pass it based purely on what you guys are saying.
Victory! The day has come.
I don't know. I just didn't have time in the day to really dive into it.
Oh, I'll link you this Let's Play I found on YouTube. It's so fascinating, Colin. I can attribute to everything this guy said because I ended up watching his play too. It's very fun.
Oh yeah.
yeah. So all right. So yeah, it only took me just over an hour to beat it. Let's see. I said how much I bought it on eBay. It was $6. So it's definitely worth $6. So there's no problem with that one. All right. Who had the next pick? Is this Joey's pick? Colin, it's your pick. You're up next.
Yeah. Yeah, it's my pick, but I got it from Joey as a recommendation because I was having a hard time finding games with a good that were a good example of a bad tutorial. At least that was old enough.
Mm-hmm.
And it is Mega Man X4 on PlayStation and Sega Saturn. It was developed and published by Capcom, although Virgin Interactive published the EU version. It was released on the PlayStation and Sega Saturn in Japan on August 1st, 1997, and in North America on September 25th, 1997. The EU only got the PlayStation version, which came out on October 13th, 1997. And we all know Mega Man is just run side to side, shoot on a horizontal plane, get upgrades, defeat robot bosses, and get more upgrades. There is a story to it, but I can barely be arsed to really get into the deep lore of everything. It's just like some big robot terrorist attack happens, and then this whole group of robots called Reploids are suddenly branded as Mavericks, and now there's a big war going on, and blah, blah, blah.
The Repla Force is coming! No, the Repla Force! I will fight you, Mavericks! You won't succeed! That's the voice acting level of this game.
Yeah, really.
It's so bad.
Quite gloriously terrible. I found myself mocking it as... No, Zero! What are you doing? Gah!
It's so 90s. Yeah, and it got a little bit annoying in the gameplay because you hear him grunt every time you jump.
Ugh! Ugh!
Yeah, gets annoying after a while.
Wait, don't you grunt when you jump? I grunt when I jump.
No, because I'm in good shape. Decent shape.
Oh, okay.
I grunt when my knees are buckling, though.
Yeah. When I played this game, I didn't really see how this game has a bad tutorial, although it is pretty scant, kind of like Immercenary, but I don't think it's in a bad way because controls are pretty simple. It's like it leaves the player to figure out what to do to execute the necessary maneuvers, like wall jumping. But I guess I can see the logic behind this being a bad tutorial because there can be such thing as too little hand-holding when it comes to it.
So the argument for this game having poor tutorial is, at least in the Mega Man threads I was reading, this was the poorest example of game design not teaching you to use the controls accordingly. While as past Mega Man games made it a mission, especially in the X series, for example, to teach you to wall jump in a past X game, it would put you in like a pit where the only way to get out would be to wall jump. This one puts you in a sequence where you're platform jumping, and that'll lead to your immediate death instead. So it's not actually teaching you to commit the wall jump. It just thinks you're not good. It gives you the idea that you're not doing the jump itself correctly. So from a game design perspective of a tutorial, it was quite poor. And I could see that because there was a sequence I came across at the beginning sequence where you have to do that like rush jump.
Okay.
Where it allows your character to kind of power up and he can make longer jumps. And I died 4 times before figuring out, okay, I have to do this, which wasn't exactly clear. I thought I was just not... I thought I was doing something else incorrectly. Because I had no idea about that like power jump that exists in the game.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So that's where this game kind of comes into the bad tutorial section. It's just the game design wasn't up to par with past Mega Man games, which kind of brings up a topic in itself with like Mario levels, you know, where it's teaching where it's teaching you, okay, if you fall in this gap that you will die, and then later in the level there is an actual gap in those sequences. This one just throws you into the barrel immediately, so you don't know what you're exactly doing wrong.
Okay, I get it. Yeah.
So
from what I've read, this one was kind of where Mega Man X started falling off in quality because people have said it just didn't really do anything new. I mean, from my perspective of someone who's only like a casual player at best of Mega Man games, I don't see it as too bad. I mean, I only got to play like maybe 1.5 hours. I played like 2 levels and didn't even manage to beat them, but I didn't think it was too bad as Mega Man games go.
You didn't beat Spider-Man?
I tried. I couldn't.
I thought that was a funny boss. I'm like, this is literally Spider-Man.
Yeah, really.
I think his name was actually Webman.
Legally distinct.
Because they couldn't, obviously they can't call him Spider-Man.
Or maybe it's
legally distinctly Spider-Man.
You bet your ass I beat Spider-Man. He's a dick. What'd you think, Kay? What'd you think of X4? The first PlayStation Mega Man game.
Oh, first PlayStation one's special, I guess. So I played that this morning. So my girlfriend has it on her Switch. I didn't have it, but I played it on hers because she has the collection.
I have the collection on the PS2. That's what I was playing off of.
So she has the Mega Man X collection that they re-released.
Mm-hmm.
I exactly see what you're talking about because it took me a few minutes to understand that I had to wall jump. And I was like, oh, I get why this is a bad tutorial. It didn't even tell me I had to wall jump. And then I stopped playing. I was like, okay, I get the bad tutorial now.
You had no interest.
No, I think the only Mega Man game I've ever really liked is the Battle Network games and Mega Man Zero. So X does nothing for me. And the bad voice acting was just laughable.
Very 90s
like,
anime.
oh, I see. It's so bad.
I did like how this put a lot more story into it than games past. So at least they tried to bring something new to the table in that aspect. Because beforehand, you would just, here's your boss stages, go beat the boss, you get their little power, move on, right? It was very rinse and repeat. At least in this one, they had a little back plot to it. It's like, go defeat Webman because in the jungle over there, they're building like the secret weapon. You got to stop it from like releasing out into the wild. And then in this port, this is their warehouse. You got to cut off their supply line. So they at least gave you a little bit more backstory there. I was like, okay, I can appreciate this. I know what they're going for. Yeah.
See, I'm used to story being in the Mega Man games because like Zero has it all in there from like the start, and so does Battle Network. So that, I guess that didn't jump out to me. I don't know if the other ones just don't have story or not.
They just don't.
Okay, that makes sense then.
Just, I'm Dr. Wily. I'm bad. Nah, beat my robots, bitch.
Gotta stop Dr. Wily.
Dr. Wily. He's actually an alien. Fun fact. Oh, did I spoil Mega Man 2 for you? Oh. Anyways.
Yeah, I was a little surprised with how dark the opening for Zero's story is. It's like there's actual blood and gore in there, although it turns out to be a nightmare.
Well, Zero's the edgy boy, man. You played the Mega Man Zero games, he's edge boy.
I've actually never played the Mega Man Zero games.
Oh, I love them. They're difficult, but I just love the gameplay and the music and sort of the art style.
Or did we play one? What was the last Mega Man game we played on the podcast? Let's see here. I'll look this up. Mega Man. Played Extreme 2. That's what we played. And we played X3. And that's it. That is it.
If you want to play Mega Man Zero, I highly recommend the Zero collection that they released with all the 4 Zero games, as well as its sequel series, ZX and ZX2.
So sure about that one. So, I don't know if you guys know this, but you can beat this game in like 4.5 hours, if you're good. Which I am not. I am never that good at Mega Man games. I played for 2 hours, and I only beat 3 bosses, so it wasn't even close. There's a lot of trial and error. The PlayStation version, if you go on the OG PS1, goes for about $8. The Sega Saturn version goes for about $75. Very expensive. Because I believe it's the only Mega Man game that came out on the Sega Saturn. I believe. So, I mean, you know what? I'm passing X4. Not my favorite Mega Man game, that's for sure. The goofy anime cutscenes made me laugh. Controls are still very tight. Didn't like how the game started with those wacky not controls. Didn't know what to do. I was like, okay, options. What does this do? I don't know what that is. I don't know. I still don't know what the super bomb attack is. Never got that. I guess that's an ability you get later in the game. So, yeah, I'll pass it, but definitely not my favorite Mega Man game out there.
Yeah, I'll give it a pass too. I mean, Mega Man games aren't really my thing, as I've said on previous casts, but I mean, I get why they're popular, but they don't really scratch my itch.
I'll be in agreement. I played 10 minutes of it, but I'll just go ahead and pass it since it seems it's a Mega Man game. It's not awful. I've played worse Mega Man games.
Fair enough.
So, the next game up is Joey's pick. Since Colin doesn't like Fire Emblem games, and Kay, you do.
I do.
You can introduce us to Fire Emblem The Blazing Blade on the Game Boy Advance.
Well, I don't have the breakdown of the publishers and all that stuff in front of me.
Alright, I'll just do it real quick then. Intelligent Systems, published by Nintendo, came out in North America November 3rd, 2003. Japan April 2003, and then the rest of the world 2004. There you go.
Sounds about right. So I played this as a child. Well, not a child, I was 10 or 11. I got this in a coat store. They just had games sitting there, and I asked. I think I bought it. It was like $10. The tutorial wasn't difficult for me, so I sort of don't understand the difficulties of it. I know it says it's like rock paper scissors, but I think in my brain I sort of understood the triangle system. Like spears beat swords because spears are longer, swords are shorter. Swords beat axes because swords are faster. The axes take longer to wind up. So that sort of made sense to me. Never beat the game though. I got to this mountain area, and then I didn't know permadeath was a thing. So I had lost a lot of my party. It continued to the next area.
You would think that's an important thing to tell somebody.
You are correct, and it did not tell me that the permadeath was a thing. So I guess you got you on that one. But it did not tell me permadeath was a thing.
The thing I discovered.
I stopped playing.
The thing I discovered was if you don't pick what's her face at the begin, Lynn,
right?
Because you can pick different characters.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't pick Lynn first, you skip the tutorial.
Oh, really?
Of learning how to play the game. You just bypass that altogether, and then you just go into the main game, and you're like, what is this? I don't know what's happening. Game has taught me nothing. And the reason why this is important... And the reason why this is important is because this was the first Fire Emblem game to come to the West.
Oh, interesting.
At the time. And it's Fire Emblem 7. Blazing Blade. Or Blazing Sword. It goes by a number of different games. Or just Fire Emblem. By itself.
I just said Fire Emblem on the cart when I had it. It just said Fire Emblem.
So yeah, very important, because I did not pick Lynn first. And I'm like, where's the tutorial? I don't... because playing Three Houses, the whole triangle system's pretty much absent. It's non-existent anymore. I was like, is the terrain going to be different in this one? Kinda, yeah. A little bit, because it's very older. So it's much more simplistic base. The stat lines make no sense. I was like, what's happening? I can't look at these stats. Oh, I didn't pick Lynn. That's where all of this is told to me. Son of a bitch. And I'm missing key parts of the story, too, where characters are being introduced, and oh my god, it's like, okay, I see exactly why this is a bad tutorial, because you just miss it.
Yeah, I skipped it too, but I think, like I said, I just put 2 and 2 together. Some of it probably was from trial and error, if memory serves. Oh, hey, the spear hits me first. I don't do any damage to this person. That means that beats this sort of deal. But and not explaining permadeath was definitely a turn-off for me. Once I found out that half my party couldn't come back, I stopped playing.
Oh, boy.
I was like, I can't play this anymore.
There you go. So what is this Fire Emblem game about, Kay?
Honestly, I don't even remember the story as much because I played it and then I stopped when I got to that point. I know it's like something about a throne. I want to say it's something about a throne and the swords and stuff like that. It's been so long since I played it.
All right. Well, it's a prequel to Binding Blade. Takes place 20 years prior. That's why a lot of the characters in Binding Blade are the children of characters in this game. The dragons have been banished. Conflict called the Scoring happened. Player travels through countries of Sakai, or Sasei, or however you land of nomads. An alliance of people, including various characters of a kingdom that's very military based, are trying to, I guess, fight various assassins and world domination plot. It's kind of the deal there, is my understanding. Yeah, I didn't. It's a Fire Emblem game. You know, it's very much what you would expect. There's dragons and summons of dragons involved in the story. Really should have played more, to be honest. But when it came down to it, I'm like, yeah, I played Fire Emblem games before. nothing groundbreaking and new. That's for sure.
It's been so long since I've played it, so I don't think I've ever went back to it because I think I was so turned off from that experience.
So let's see here. Albert disappears, prompting Elwood and his friend Ector, younger brother Marquise Ostia, to investigate. The pair discover that the Black Fang has incited to rebel against our main character, Lycia. And Albert was captured when he refused to get... There's a big spiel here. So... looks to be world domination type stuff, as usual. Yeah, okay.
I just remember something about them talking about a throne.
They want to take over a throne, take over the land. You can summon dragons, dragon stuff. There you go. Yep. That's it.
Yeah.
Colin, how much did you play? Because I only played like an hour of this one.
I was only able to watch like a YouTube video of the Lynn playthrough. It's like maybe a couple of hours, but not much I can say about this game that hasn't been said about other Fire Emblem games. And I should point out, I haven't played many Fire Emblem games overall, just Awakening and a bit of Mystery of the Emblem.
You know exactly what this game is about then.
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah. It's very bare bones. It kind of shows how much the game really didn't evolve since the Super Nintendo one that we played for the podcast way back. Kind of a bummer.
Yeah. I did kind of like the character animations, like how Lynn puts her sword back in its sheath after every attack.
Oh, the sprites were great. Absolutely. Probably his best part of the game was the sprite work and the map designs.
Yeah.
I had no issue with the map designs.
As far as turn-based strategy games are concerned, I tend to prefer the way XCOM and Valkyria Chronicles do them. I'm just more into it that way. I mean,
you might want to get back, stay away from Wargroove then, because this is very Fire Emblem based. But there is like a recruiting system or summon recruits system within the game with currency and whatnot. Maybe you'd be into it then.
Yeah, I have played Advance Wars as well. So
yeah, it's closer to Advance Wars. Yeah.
Yeah, I enjoyed that one. But yeah, as a Fire Emblem game goes, I didn't hate it. It looks just okay.
Just okay is a good way to describe it. It's definitely not going to be top of my list for favorite Fire Emblem games out there. That's for sure. How about you, Kay?
Yeah, no. I think I've played more Fire Emblem games that I would put way above this. It's super basic.
Unfortunately, yeah. And I like the Super Nintendo one more just because of it's on the Super Nintendo, and that came out way before this one, so I definitely look at it differently. Anyways.
Right.
I'm gonna fail this one, actually. I just wasn't into it. What about you?
I'll fail it. It's basic. The fact that I don't remember so much about it and I've never wanted to go back and play it since that experience probably shows that maybe the tutorial not explaining to me that permadeath was a thing. That's probably a pretty bad part. Yeah, because I lost half my party and I was like, oh, they're not.
Oh yeah, that's game over after that. Yeah. Oh, for sure.
Yeah. Yeah, I can still continue, but I lost so many people in the party that it wasn't even no point in it. And 2 characters I think I was invested in, too. It just was done.
Colin, do you remember if the Super Nintendo one explained permadeath? I think they did.
Might have. It was hard to tell with the clumsy translation.
Yeah, I mean, that's... Can't fault that, though.
Yeah. The later ones that I've played, like the one on the GameCube and stuff and the Wii, those ones explain permadeath.
Let's see. So this game clocks in about 34 hours, generally. I believe you can grind in the game, which that's at least a big positive when you can grind characters up. How much is this game for? Doesn't say. I would say $20 or less would be worth it. That's my price point I'd put on it. Anyways. Moving on. Kay, the last game and the star of the show. Okay.
This game sucks.
What is it? Who made it?
Well, I don't have that information. I don't have that information in front of me, unfortunately.
Oh my god, you're fine. I'll do it for you. Even though we do this every cast. Jesus. Driver. Developed by Reflections Interactive, published by GT Interactive. Came out on the PlayStation in North America. Didn't get to Japan. Lucky bastards. Came out June 30th, 1999. Actually came out in Europe before, June 25th, 1999.
I did not get past the tutorial level.
I
spent 15 minutes and I said, fuck this game.
You are not the wheelman.
I just said, fuck this game, and I stopped playing. I think I bought it at like a game store near me that was like, it was like $3. Like, oh, that's probably a good sign. It's like $3.
I bought this with you, Colin, in Connecticut with Kevin.
Was that at the Retro World Expo?
Yes, indeed. I remember having this on the Jam Pack as a tutorial in the magazine, but I never actually got the game. I finally got it for like $2. So I was like, fuck it, I'll get it for $2.
I spent $1 more, damn it.
Oh boy.
I still don't know what was a slalom or I googled it. I still don't understand what that move is supposed to be that you're supposed to do.
This is the worst tutorial ever.
Do a 360. Was it a 980, a 180? It's like I so long, and you can't hit nothing. Hit anything and done.
You fail. So if you hit anything, including the wall, you fail. If you hit any of the pillars in this parking, so you're a driver. You are like a getaway driver. Crazy taxi, but super serious, right, Colin?
Yeah, pretty much. So it's like sort of like what did I write down?
The Transporter.
Grand Theft Auto meets Need for Speed Hot Pursuit.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Sure.
I like the Crazy Taxi one better. It's like Crazy Taxi, but not fun.
So you begin the game. There was a fucking movie that came out of this, by the way.
Oh my god, was there? Yeah. I didn't even know that.
Okay, so yeah, the game puts you in a parking garage, an underground parking garage, and you have like a notepad with various tasks that you have to do. And it doesn't tell you any of the controls, but god damn it, they put a clock on your ass to do all these things. So you have to do a 360, you have to slalom between all the pillars, ski style with your car. Can't touch any of the pillars. You have to hard brake before a wall and then reverse and spin the car around again. So the tutorial is requiring you to be an expert driver immediately and again, I can't stress this enough, there's a fucking clock to it all as well. So you have to do all of these in an allotted amount of time. And it's not a lot. So, Kay, you quit after 15 minutes.
I did. Also, hit detection on this game sucks.
You pussy. I'm calling you out. You
Go ahead.
Gave up so fast. This took me 45 minutes. And I threw my controller down twice. I was close to giving up. But I'm not UK. I'm a man. And I became the wheelman. Just me passing this tutorial level, I felt like I beat the game. Because this is atrocious and unacceptable. This lived up to the legends.
It's so bad. So bad.
I literally had to go, okay, this is how I do the car. Okay, I failed the next turn. Okay, redo. Gotta load. Alright, now I got a 360 and stop in front of the wall. I failed. Try again. Okay, I gotta swallow between the pillars. Oh, my back end clipped the pillar. I failed. You gotta load again. Fuck you, driver.
I fired and then I missed.
Colin, how long did it take you to beat it? Or did you pussy out like Kay over here?
No, I beat it.
Yay! Colin's a man. Your man card is returned. Kay, I'm taking your man card and I'm giving it to Colin.
It took me maybe half an hour.
Oh no, he's better than me.
Yeah, there's on the main menu, there's actually like a training option. You go into that, it'll give you like a video of what you have to do of each thing. And there's like a controller icon in the corner that the various buttons light up as the various maneuvers are conducted. But it's like, yeah, the gaming community at large was not kidding about this tutorial being bad. I mean, you watch that training video, that's the only direction you get. And then you have to quit out of that, go into the actual game, and then do it yourself. And you've got no guidance in that. So
and
you kind of have to work from memory.
Fuck.
Yeah. If I wasn't such an experienced gamer, that tutorial would have taken hours to beat.
So there was a Game Boy Color version of this game that came out, and you'll never guess who published it.
Infogrames?
Infogrames! They're back! Every podcast.
Oh, boy. Oh, boy. They never go away.
After the 45 minutes of me struggling and overcoming a slew of emotions, I did the first 3 missions of Driver before I was like, I'm done. I'll put this down. I'm going to play a game I actually enjoy in Final Fantasy VIII. And then I was like, you know what? I've played Final Fantasy VIII. I'm going to throw on Yakuza 5. And that's what I did.
Yeah.
I think I just didn't have the patience for it. I was like, this is unnecessary. I'm not playing any more of this. Screw this game.
So, for those that never get to the main game, this is basically Crazy Taxi. But with, like Colin said, a Need for Speed element to it, with cops chasing you, and you gotta kind of lose the tail, so to say. There's another aspect to it, and that is your like wanted level. What's the term in the game, Colin? It is felony level.
Yeah, that's the one.
Yeah, so your car accumulates damage, so that's a cool little feature. I like that in the game. But there's
that's a Grand Theft Auto type thing.
Yeah. So I don't know if this happened to you, Colin, but when I did mission 1, and I did fail this mission, I got to the bank because you are hired as a getaway driver for this bank heist. I was like, okay, this is cool. I like this. This is like fucking the transporter going on here. I do like the way the car controls. It's very slick. You do have to get out of that tutorial mission, which is a problem. So
a big problem.
I got to the bank, and then it said I was too early. I'm like, what the fuck? And I didn't notice that the felony level skyrocketed, and I failed. Because it maxed out. And I was like, what just happened? It just didn't occur to me. And I did it a second time, and that's when I noticed the bar just goes all the way up. I'm like, oh, what? So you have to wait till there's like 20 seconds left on the clock or less, and then you can get to the bank. So you're like waiting behind the point, and then you pull up. So that's what happened to me. And then the second mission is very much all the same. The cops are on your tail a little bit harder. I at least really liked the driving sequences of it. It's got a fun little game loop to it. It's a deeper, I guess, more serious Crazy Taxi is how I'd put it. But fuck that parking garage. Dear God. Like, yeah. I failed a game just on that tutorial section. Because, like Kay here, he didn't have the man card power enough to get past it.
I like to think I spent my time doing better things than trying to figure this terrible, terrible tutorial out.
What do you think, Colin, of the main game part of it?
Well, I should point out this is my very first foray into the driver series proper.
Ooh.
I mean, I have played Stuntman before, and we actually covered it on a previous cast, cinematic style.
It was a good prelude to playing this.
Yeah, it was made by the same people, has the same mechanics, and the skidding in this game is nuts. The steering is so sensitive and gets you into a fishtail really easily.
Mm-hmm.
So you have to be really careful how hard you move the analog stick to steer. Otherwise, you'll either spin out or whack into another car, possibly an oncoming one, and then you'll really have a bad time. And it boggles my mind how fast the cops in this game set up their roadblocks. It's just like maybe 5 seconds after a cop starts tailing you, you go onto a main road and then boom, there's a roadblock. It's like, these are the fastest cops in the world.
So this game has a slew of sequels.
Yeah. Number 3 is particularly notorious.
Oh, horrible.
That's the only one I've heard of, is how bad 3 was.
Oh, yeah.
And the tutorial for this one.
Yes.
Well, the real scandal behind 3 was like they were trying to fluff their review numbers in the real world.
Yeah, that's what I've heard.
Yeah, there's a video by Larry Bundy Jr. on YouTube talking about that.
That's what I saw. I swear I saw it.
Yeah. He does a whole fact hunt episode about it. It's really interesting.
It's very good.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's been Driver on like every major console basically, or at least in generation. Driver 3's on the PS2. Driver Parallel Lines came out on the Wii and Xbox. Driver 76 was a PSP game. Driver San Francisco was on the PS3, 360, and Wii. And then Renegade 3D was on the 3DS. And most of them have poor reviews. How does this game how does this series keep being made is beyond me.
Yeah.
And so PS4 one, right?
There was not a PS4 one.
So maybe it's finally over.
I think it's finally over. I've never played Driver 2. It has bad reviews. I wonder what is the problem with it. Because I don't know, Colin, when I was playing the main game, it was a lot of fun.
Yeah, I didn't mind it. I mean, I got a little frustrated with all the cops and shit, but then again, I was kind of on the clock in the real world, so I was only able to play like the first 2 missions. But yeah, I thought after the tutorial, things were actually pretty decent.
Yeah, I'm gonna pass Driver. Psych! Okay. The tutorial's horrible. It fails.
I failed the tutorial, but the main game gets a soft pass.
The problem is, most people will get past the tutorial.
I failed this game.
That's the problem.
Jesus Christ, this tutorial.
So, our games we played for this podcast of bad tutorials is Final Fantasy VIII, Immercenary on the 3DO, Mega Man X4 on the PlayStation, Sega Saturn, Fire Emblem, The Blazing Blade, Fire Emblem 7 / whatever, Game Boy Advance, and then Driver on the PlayStation. Kay, what was your favorite and least favorite? I have guesses in my head.
Oh, could you guess that I liked Final Fantasy VIII and disliked Driver?
Ah, I do. And what are your tier grades for them, sir?
I'd give an S Final Fantasy VIII, but I already liked Final Fantasy VIII prior to all of this, so that's a bit of a bias there.
Okay.
I'd give an F- to Driver because screw that tutorial.
F. Okay.
I guess Mega Man X4 I'd give like maybe a C.
Yeah, okay. Sure.
And Fire Emblem I'd also probably give it like a D.
D for Fire Emblem. What about Immercenary? You can't just forget the 3DO like that.
You know, I'd give that an A for nuking God with 5 nukes.
An A for Immercenary. I like this thinking process. Colin, your favorite, least favorite, and your tiers, if you will.
Well, favorite's obviously Final Fantasy VIII. But for least favorite, I think I'm going to say Immercenary.
Oh.
Yeah,
Nuke God.
When in doubt, always make. When in doubt, your least favorite's always the 3DO game.
I think just having JD explaining it to me in chat was enough for me to want to pass it.
So sad.
Well, in any case,
hurt my feelings.
not so fun when it's happening to you, is it?
Can't believe you're so cruel.
Just go watch it. Just go re-listen to episode 44 and you'll feel better.
All right. Your tiers, Colin.
Yes. In no particular order. Mega Man X4, I give it a B. Immercenary, a D. Final Fantasy VIII, A. Driver, F on the tutorial, C on the main game.
So we'll give that a D.
Okay.
Go in between.
And Fire Emblem, C.
C, Fire Emblem, okay. My favorite's Final Fantasy VIII. My least favorite is Driver, because of the tutorial. That caused me the most pain. Final Fantasy VIII, I'm giving an A. Immercenary, I'm gonna give a. I'm gonna give it a B. I just had fun with it, man, and I cheated, and therefore it was a lot more fun. Mega Man X4, I'll give a C. Same thing with Fire Emblem. Neither of those two blew me away. And then Driver, I'm with you, Colin. Big D for it. Even though the main game was actually kind of fun, that tutorial is just unacceptable. If the main game was also bad, I would have given it an F. So that makes Final Fantasy overall an A, and Mercenary B? 3DO game gets a B. How about that? It's good times. Good times we live in. Mega Man gets a C, Fire Emblem gets a C, and then Driver gets a D. So there you go. Those are our games. Our next theme is detective games. That was your theme pick, Colin. And spoiler, Driver 3 is coming.
Oh no.
What a twist.
Hooray. And naturally I picked the 3DO game. So haha! The trend continues. So join us next time. This has been the Red Leaf Retrocast, episode 79, Bad Tutorials. See ya.
Bye now.
See ya.